They already got edge guys.
Cardinals got to find some inside line
They got to
help.
go receiver.
They need a receiver, too.
They got to go receiver, especially with Fitz really being old. And I don't even think they have a tight end we're talking about.
Seahawks don't pick till the 4th round. The Rams don't pick till, I think, the 3rd round.
The Falcons are going to clean up tomorrow.
Which, by the way, I don't think we talked about this on air, but
Calvin Ridley.
them getting Calvin Ridley is probably
The steal
of the draft so far. Because
they compared him to Amari Cooper coming out.
he's Amari Cooper, but a little bit sorrier. He's not as fast.
And he doesn't take great
And he's older.
He doesn't take great Instagram pics.
Yeah, and he's like 3 years older.
He
Like he's older than Amari Cooper right now, and Amari Cooper's been in the league for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like Calvin Ridley's old, but he can stretch the field somewhat, and he can do all the intermediate to short routes that really complement Julio Jones.
He runs after the catch. That's one of his best assets.
Which I think
they gotta get a tight end. In the
I think this is a perfect segue. So, NFL draft 2nd round tomorrow. Check it out. 3rd round. No, tomorrow's second round. Saturday's 3rd and 4th, and then Sunday's 5th, 6th, and 7th. Right?
Yep, the smorgasbord. It's just a bloodletting that last day.
Yeah, and that's in Dallas,
Like
and
72
I think
hours.
it's gonna come to LA like in 2021. So that'll be nuts.
Wait till the draft goes to Vegas. Oh man, draft night.
It's gonna
Vegas?
be bad. It's gonna be bad.
Charges will be caught.
All the
Children will
Airbnb. There will be 30 girls in one Airbnb. The record, the Guinness World Record
The Guinness
for our Airbnb will be set that weekend in
Bro,
Vegas.
They're gonna have like 3 connecting. They're gonna have a whole floor of just Airbnbs.
They might just have to open up the stadium just to have a pool party.
They're gonna, bro. Let's see. Let's just think of hotels. The Bellagio. Circus is still around, bro. Like all like the little older casinos on the Strip that people don't want to go to, and then like a couple of the main ones, they're gonna be at that. Everyone's gonna be at the Circus for those cheap deals.
Nah,
Just so
man.
they can be at the Adventure Dome.
You don't get no
man.
play at Circus. And I'm
Bro,
speaking
no.
from
I'm telling you,
experience.
that's
the
where
fastest way to kill your
No,
game in Vegas.
you're missing
is
what I'm
to
saying.
Say I'm staying at Circus.
You don't say that. You don't say that. You just have that as like an extra room because you know it's cheap there. But you're really gonna go in on a buddy pass with a bunch of friends at like the Bellagio or something like that. But you're gonna have an extra like, okay, let me just get my life together real quick for 20 minutes at this room at Circus because I know it's cheap and I could just lay over here for a day and think of my next move. That's what you get the room at Circus for, and their buffet and Adventure Dome. Just saying.
All right.
That's just a layover. That's a layover. You don't ever claim you're at Circus in Vegas. You don't even take pictures in front of Circus in Vegas.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the Falcons, and I know they probably took Ridley to be Julio Jones number 2, maybe his year. But
he'll never replace Julio Jones as number 1
But
receiver.
nobody can replace Julio Jones. You're talking about a generational talent. Earlier this week, Julio Jones went through his Twitter. He erased all his pictures and mentions of the Atlanta Falcons.
So he knows they'll never make it back to the Super Bowl.
So I guess what I'm asking is, you got a take or a tangent on that?
This will start off as a take. We'll see where it goes. Bottom line is, I think he's kind of just, now that the Super Bowl is going to be in Atlanta and he has another crack at it, he's probably going to be more serious than LeBron is during the playoffs. Like, you're going to see like a Julio Jones that we've never seen before.
Does that Julio Jones exist, considering, I
mean,
don't know.
You've seen Dragon Ball Z, like Goku became a freaking god. So there you go. Like, that's literally my comparison. Like, Julio Jones isn't a real person. He's supernaturally ridiculous.
I guess my whole thought on it, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is, do you think he caught wind that the Falcons were looking to take another receiver to either compete with him or potentially
Usurp
take
him?
his spot?
I would just walk in the office. I was like, so when we're up by 28 and when we're up by like 20 in the Super Bowl again and you don't throw me the ball and we lose that too, are you going to blame him Or are you going to blame the offensive coordinator? You're going to blame the offensive line? Because we know who blew that game. It has nothing to do with someone replacing Julio.
That's all fine and dandy.
You need to get back. You need to position yourself to actually get back to that game. And that defense is gelling. They're young. The offense is the one that needs the help. You just re-upped Devonta Freeman. You got Coleman. They need a tight end. They need to get the offensive line better. They got a receiver, a perfect receiver. They replaced Taylor Gabriel, snooze the slot guy.
Alabama.
I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but
it'll work.
We all know how this league works. It's called the not for long league for a reason. And Julio's 29, 30 years old.
Bro, he has like 5 years left, at least.
That's what we said about Calvin.
Calvin just didn't want to play no more. He still had juice left, too. But Detroit
And you don't see that coming from Julio? You don't see a money dispute coming? You don't see...
No, they paid him already.
So you're not paying any attention to the fact that he just scraped himself of the Atlanta Falcons, and then 2 days later the Atlanta Falcons took a receiver?
I think he knows, like, yo, I could be traded, but at the same time, I'm still the guy. Like, if he gets traded to any team in the league, he's still the best receiver on that team.
Let me ask you this. Who is going to be a Falcon longer, Matt Ryan or Julio Jones?
Julio Jones.
Because Matt Ryan isn't a spring chicken either anymore.
You don't know what's coming. Yeah, like Matt Ryan's been around for a minute. Matt Ryan, they got Julio Jones for Matt Ryan.
Did they ride out together?
Nah. Matt Ryan probably voted for Trump, so nah. Oh, Matt Ryan probably don't really like Migos, but he can never tell Julio that. That's probably why they lost the Super Bowl, and he stopped getting the ball in the fourth quarter. They treated him like T.O., except T.O. kept getting the ball. I'm telling you, man, like, bro, like, I wonder how McGlinchey's going to fit in San Francisco. So he's kind of, him and Matt Ryan are first cousins, and San Francisco's pretty liberal. That'll be interesting to see. Joe Staley on one side, McGlinchey on the other. I don't know how to say his name. I know how to say his name. I just don't want to because I don't like Notre Dame linemen. But that's interesting. I got one for you. So, as you know, the Raiders drafted Colton Miller. I personally said I compare him to Bruce Campbell. You know who that is. Google him. But Tom Cable...
He was like an offensive lineman that ran a 4.7 out of Maryland.
Yeah, really strong. Great Madden prospect, by the way. Just didn't pan out in real life. But Tom Cable is his guy. He's rooting for him. They've needed a right tackle forever, but realistically, Colton Miller has the athleticism of a left tackle. What's your take on tangent on how Donald Penn might feel about that being usurped?
I've been saying this. I think Donald Penn needs to go, and I don't really think it's any disrespect to him. He still can play. It's just he's 35 years old. He's breaking down for the first time in his career. The past 2 seasons, he's finished on an injury reserve. The team is shifting to a new scheme where they want more speed and athleticism. I don't know. And he has a $6 million contract that's not guaranteed, and the Raiders only have like $1 million in cap space.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah. So Donald Penn might need to go, and that's pretty much just my take on it. All right. So another thing I want to talk about this week, Plaxico Burress, man. Oh, you might know him for, in his foot.
Wait, what?
You might know him for shooting himself in his foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweatpants.
But pretty much, I guess,
don't mix.
Reports came out that he hasn't made his house payment in a year.
Oh, man.
He's getting foreclosed on.
He shot himself in the foot again.
Oh, come on, dog. That's poor taste.
A farce on your house.
You have no shame.
A farce on your house.
And the worst part is, you know what he's currently doing right now? He's a coaching intern. He's an intern.
I was going to say working for DirecTV.
He might be making more money probably doing that.
He's installing DirecTV. He's installing satellites.
He approached me with some Vima last week.
Can you Venmo me DirecTV?
Nah, but pretty much. So Plaxico's going broke. And he actually wrote a really heartfelt letter on the Players Tribune today towards the whole NFL draft prospects, pretty much just saying his experience in that you got to be a little bit smarter. So, KB, what do you make of athletes going broke? How why does this keep happening, I guess? Because we hear these talks, we see these letters, but it still happens. So I'm wondering why.
I mean, it's financial literacy. A lot of these cats come from backgrounds that they've never.
Shout out to Keith Good News, man.
He was
the
laughing.
Flagship.
He was laughing and cackling in the background.
The CEO, entrepreneur, the GOAT.
Yep. Yeah, man. A lot of these cats aren't taught financial literacy, and it shows. Some of them, by the time they do learn it, they've already had so much money stolen from them now that they have to go work for a living, and it's really sad. It's unfortunate.
So when you hear, as a young player, when you hear someone like Plaxico Burress' story, how should you feel? What can you take away from that?
Use it as a cautionary tale, man. Money is really just an agreement. Like, it comes and it goes. But you gotta really be business minded out here, especially like for a young black male going into sports. You are the commodity. If everyone's making money off you, except you, and you're not touching your finances and money's going through other people's hands before it goes to yours, and you're not reading contracts, like, bro, you set up for failure.
I mean, that's one element of it, and I get that. I don't want to disregard that, but I think it's bigger than that, and Marcellus Wiley really did a great job of breaking it down earlier this week on the radio. What he was saying is, basically, when you come out of college, you might get a regular-ass job. You're making $30K, $40K, $50K, $60K, whatever you're making. You're making that change. Then slowly work your way up. You're making 5% more, 10% more, whatever the case. But that number that you start at, your habits kind of grow with it, right? So you buy what you think you deserve. You buy what you think you can afford. And you kind of stick in that as you move up a little bit. You know, you live within your means. But when you're an athlete, as you were saying, you don't necessarily have that financial literacy. You don't necessarily have people in your corner that you can trust or people to advise you and tell you what's up. And then you're giving all this money. Your habits exponentially grow with that money. And then once you've been playing in the league, you see that second contract. You've been in the league 5-10 years. Your habits are your habits. You're stuck there. You're used to spending hundreds of $1,000s in the club, or you're used to buying these nice cars. That's your lifestyle. That's your life. And then once that money stops, and now all of a sudden you're a coaching intern or whatever you do, where you're not making millions of dollars, your habits are still the same. So the money isn't coming in, but it's going out at the same rate. And that's why you see a lot of the athletes kind of go broke pretty much as soon as they're out of the league, because their habits. I think, and they also said this on the radio, the only real athlete I've seen kind of be broke and then bounce back, besides AI, because AI denies he was ever broke, but Michael Vick. You know, with the whole prison thing, he lost a lot of sponsorships. He lost his house, lost a bunch of stuff. Came back, Pro Bowl quarterback, got another big time deal, earned his money back, paid his sponsors back, and now he's got his own company. He's running camps. He's on broadcast. He's making paper again. So, other than that,
racist people in the parking lot on Atlanta.
But yeah, man. So I guess the only thing that this draft class can take away from the old school is, man, change your habits. And I think we joke about what we